penso che però Macron abbia ragione su questo. Cioè io credo che sia arrivato il momento in cui anche l'Europa parli con la Russia. Perché se l'Europa decide di partecipare a questa fase di negoziazioni parlando solo con una delle due parti in campo, temo che alla fine vedrà diciamo, il contributo positivo che può portare sia limitato. Dopodiché però dov'è il problema di questo? Il problema di questo è chi lo deve fare, perché se noi facessimo l'errore di diciamo, decidere da una parte di riaprire le interlocuzioni con la Russia e dall'altra di andare in ordine sparso mentre lo facciamo, noi faremo un favore a Putin. E l'ultima cosa che voglio fare io nella vita è un favore a Putin.
This is my video update on this Friday afternoon, January the 9th, coming to you from Nicicoia, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with an update on the seized oil tanker, the Marinara, the spaghetti marinara, or the Yo soy marinero, yo no soy marinero, soy capitán, the Bella One, that later changed its name to the Mariner or the Marinero or the Marinara. Anyway, we have an update on what's going on there. There were two Russians, it looks like two Russian citizens who were part of the crew, as well as, I believe, 20 Ukrainians were on that oil tanker that was seized by the United States. And we got an update that the Russian citizens have been released. They have been released by the Trump administration, and it looks like they will be going back to Russia. Zakharova, Trump will release two Russian citizens from the Marinara crew. Russia expresses its gratitude to the U.S. leadership, the official representative of the Russian Foreign Ministry emphasized. So that's an update there. And we also have an update on the negotiations that are taking place between the collective West and Russia, well, the United States and Russia, but an update on the European side of the negotiations for Project Ukraine. It looks like Giorgia Meloni is changing her tune. She is now saying that, you know what? It's time to talk to Russia. I think Macron is right on this. I believe the time has come for Europe to also speak with Russia. Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni. Yeah, I wouldn't say that Macron is right about speaking to Russia. He's flip-flopped on the whole speaking to Russia thing about 100 times. Speak to Russia, don't speak to Russia. Speak to Russia, don't speak to Russia. Coalition of the willing troops in Ukraine. No coalition of the willing troops in Ukraine. Macron's been flip-flopping for a good 2 years now, but Giorgia Meloni, she is now coming out and saying it's time to engage with Russia as the EU, as Europe. Amazing what an Oreshnik can do, right? And that takes us to our big story for the day. We have a lot of news to get to today, a whole lot of news. So this may be a long video, but an Oreshnik can work wonders and change a lot of minds. And that's what we had yesterday. We had the second Oreshnik strike into the west of Ukraine in the area of Lviv. The Oreshnik traveled quite a long distance, and it was moving so fast that there were no alarms, no air raids, no sirens, air raid sirens, no No air defense, no super duper wonder weapon Patriot air defense, nothing. Nothing even noticed that the Oreshnik was coming. And when it hit, the images that we're getting, terrifying, absolutely terrifying, devastating weapon, the Oreshnik. And the reports are that the Oreshnik may have hit the critical gas storage facility, not only for Ukraine, but also for Europe. What we do know is that the Oreshnik has been confirmed by the Russian Ministry of Defense. They have already confirmed that an Oreshnik was indeed used in Lviv. They say that in the region of Lviv. They say that the strike was in response to the drones that were targeting Russian President Vladimir Putin's residency in Novgorod, Valdai. And Russia also launched a whole lot of other strikes throughout Ukraine. I believe they were using Kalibra missiles and drones, and they hit Dnipropetrovsk, which has caused all kinds of blackouts. Kiev got hit really hard, blackouts everywhere. Even the Rada, the Ukrainian parliament, has no heat and no water. That's my understanding of things. And Klitschko, he is even telling people in Kiev, citizens of Kiev, if they have an alternative place to go to outside of the city that has electricity and heating and running water and stuff like that, to go. Leave Kiev for the time being, because things are really bad in Kiev. But going back to Lviv, let me read you what the Russian Ministry of Defense said. Tonight, in response to the terrorist attack carried out by the Kiev regime against the residence of the president of the Russian Federation in the Novgorod region, undertaken on the night of December 29th, 2025, the armed forces of Russia delivered a massive strike using high-precision long-range weapons based on land and sea platforms, including the medium-range mobile ground-based missile system Oreshnik, as well as strike unmanned aerial vehicles against critically important facilities on the territory of Ukraine. The objectives of the strike have been achieved. Facilities involved in the production of unmanned aerial vehicles that were used during the terrorist attack, as well as elements of the energy infrastructure that ensure the operation of Ukraine's military-industrial complex, have been hit. So the narrative is that this gas storage facility in the west of Ukraine, very close to the border with Poland, known as Stryi, S-T-R-Y-I. This storage facility is the biggest in Europe, I believe. One of the biggest in the world, the biggest in Europe. Built in the Soviet times. They knew how to build things back then. And it holds 50% of Ukraine's reserves, as well as 30 to 35% of Europe's reserves. It also acts as a storage facility for the EU, for Europe. And so if this indeed was smashed, then we don't have confirmation that it was indeed this facility that was hit. But if it was this facility, and all of the analysts believe it was, then this is big. This is very big. And not only does this put Ukraine in all kinds of... That guy ran the lights. Not only does it put Ukraine in all kinds of trouble, but it puts Europe in all kinds of trouble. Keep in mind that This also may have been a message to the E3, the very powerful E3 of Macron, Merz, and Stammer, who just got done with the Paris summit and signing a letter of intent to place troops in the west of Ukraine if there is a ceasefire. Witkoff and Kushner were also at the Paris summit, and Macron and Stammer, Merz, they were talking up how they're going to place troops in the west of Ukraine. And what did little Napoleon say? They're going to be in the west of Ukraine, far away from the front line, out of the reach of Russia. Russia just sent a message that they will be well within the reach of Russia. And they also sent a message to Europe that they can strike well beyond the west of Ukraine. And keep in mind that the Oreshnik can also be nuclear capable. And no one's going to see it coming. As Putin said, the Oreshnik during a speech at an event a few months back, Putin said that this thing cannot be stopped. Try to stop it, he said. It can't be stopped. Unstoppable Oreshnik. So Russia definitely sent quite a message yesterday. It got Maloney asking for the EU to speak to Russia. It definitely woke up Giorgia Meloni. My friends, come here. You know who it didn't wake up? You know who it didn't wake up, my friends? It didn't wake up Kaja Kallas. It did not wake up Kaja Kallas because she posted on X, Putin doesn't want peace. Russia's reply to diplomacy is more missiles and destruction. This deadly pattern of recurring major Russian strikes will repeat itself until we help Ukraine break it. Russia's reported use of an Oreshnik missile is a clear escalation against Ukraine and meant as a warning to Europe and to the US. EU countries must dig deeper into their air defense stocks and deliver now. We must also further raise the cost of this war for Moscow, including through tougher sanctions. Now, riddle me this. What air defense can the collective West provide to Ukraine when no air defense can stop the Oreshnik? Riddle me this, riddle me that. Stunning and brave Kaja Kallas. So before the Oreshnik, we had another strike on a Russian tanker in the Black Sea. And this is not the Marinara. This is not the Bella. We're not talking about these tankers. We're talking about the Black Sea again. The Black Sea and the Ukraine drones hitting a Russian tanker, which was heading towards Novorossiysk. And this happened before the Oreshnik. So I wonder if after this Oreshnik strike, we're going to see the U.S. and if we're going to see the U.S. and Ukraine and the collective West continue to go after tankers. What do you think, Nicicoia cat? Hey, it's warm. It's warm. Cats know where the warmth is. But let me just grab my phone. Cat, Mr. Cat, or Mrs. Cat. And let's get to the next news story. And we are going to talk about, oh, by the way, there were also Ukraine strikes into Belgorod as well. And this has caused massive blackouts in Belgorod, inside of Russia. About 500,000 people are without residences, are without power. So Ukraine also did some damage to Russia yesterday. I don't know if the strikes into Belgorod were before or after the Oreshnik. I think those strikes were also for the Oreshnik. We are getting word from Axios that Witkoff and Kushner met with Dmitriev in Paris, and they presented Dmitriev with the peace plan, the Russian peace plan, the Ukraine peace plan. I got distracted. I get distracted. I'm getting distracted now. They presented Dmitriev with the Ukraine Zelensky peace plan, which was agreed on in Paris by the Green Goblin, Macron, Stammer, and Merz. Witkoff and Kushner were present, though they did not sign the peace plan. They did not sign up to the security guarantees, which talks about the troops in the west of Ukraine. But what they did do is they met with Dmitriev, according to Axios, and they presented him with this plan, of which the Russians have already rejected and will continue to reject, because Russia has said that there will be no collective West troops, no NATO troops, UK, British, French. They don't care. There will be no troops from the collective West in Ukraine. They don't care if it's the west of Ukraine, the center of Ukraine. Russia has rejected this a million freaking times, but they presented this plan to Dmitriev, and they would like Dmitriev to take this to Putin and to Russia, to the Kremlin. Trump advisors met Putin's envoy in Paris to discuss Ukraine peace plan. By the way, Zelensky is going to be traveling. The word is that he will be traveling to the U.S. to meet with Trump. And according to Zelensky, they are going to finalize U.S. security guarantees for Ukraine. We don't have any details as to what those security guarantees are, but Trump has said that it is going to be the Europeans that are going to provide security, and the United States is going to have a backup role. But we don't know the specifics as to what Zelensky claims has been agreed on with Trump, and he's going to be going to the United States to finalize that agreement. Does Zelensky ever stay in Ukraine? Ever? He travels everywhere but going to Ukraine. He does not go to Ukraine. He does not stay in Kiev. He spends more time outside of Kiev and outside of Ukraine. At least that's how it looks. So let's talk about Trump. Let's talk about his interview to the New York Times, which has a whole lot of people talking. Trump lays out a vision of power restrained only by my own morality. Restrained only by my own morality, according to President Trump in this interview with the New York Times. Why is he giving interviews to the New York Times? Why are you giving an interview to the New York Times, President Trump? Anyway, the comment from Trump that has a whole lot of people talking is where he says that there is no international law. I don't care about international law. The world is going to be run by my own morality. That's pretty much what Trump says. Let me read you the quote, the statement that has everyone talking. President Trump declared on Wednesday evening that his power as commander-in-chief is constrained only by his own morality, brushing aside international law and other checks on his ability to use military might to strike, invade, or coerce nations around the world. Asked in a wide-ranging interview with the New York Times if there were any limits to his global powers, Mr. Trump said, yeah, there is one thing, my own morality, my own mind. It's the only thing that can stop me. I don't need international law, he added. I'm not looking to hurt people. So are we done with the international rules-based order? Are we throwing out that handbook, that PDF? Is it now Trump's morality that is going to be what runs the world? Trump's own morality, but he's not looking to hurt people. I'm not looking to hurt people. I like it, and I'm not looking to hurt people. If you like this video, hit the like, hit the subscribe button as well, and also share this channel. So yeah, his own morality. That's what's keeping things together or tearing things apart. So countries that can push back, Russia, China, India, they're going to be concerned, but not that concerned because they can push back. Countries that cannot push back should be very concerned with this statement from Trump. And the Europeans should be very, very concerned with this statement from Trump because all the Europeans talk about is the international rules-based order. Even the German president said in a speech the other day that Trump is tearing apart the international world-based order or the international rules-based order. He's tearing it apart. He's tearing me apart, said the German president. Well, forget about the rules-based order and international law. It's now all in Trump's mind, in his cabeza, his morality, his mind. It's my own mind. It's the only thing that can stop me. Wow. Quite a statement from the U.S. president. And Trump was on Fox News yesterday. As I said in my video update from yesterday, Fox News is definitely getting all the news out from the Trump administration. Fox News is the Trump administration's go-to source, and Hannity is the Trump administration's go-to guy. And Hannity interviewed the U.S. president, and Trump talked about land strikes on Mexico, or at least he said he's going to hit the cartels, and then he mentioned Mexico. So a lot of people are rightly concluding that something might be happening against Mexico. He talked about the oil tanker Spaghetti Marinara. Yo no soy marinero, soy capitán. He talked about that incident. He talked about Iran. He talked about meeting Machado, and he talked about the Nobel Peace Prize. Of course, he talked about the Nobel Peace Prize. Absolutely. He's very upset with Norway. People watching from Norway, look out. Trump is very upset with Norway and the fact that he did not get the Nobel Peace Prize. So what did he say about Mexico? Trump says the U.S. will be conducting land strikes against Mexico. We are going to start now hitting land with regard to the cartels. The cartels are running Mexico. So it does appear as if he's saying, he doesn't say it directly. He says we're going to start hitting land with regard to the cartels. And then he mentions that the cartels are running Mexico. So it does look like he's thinking of something with Mexico. That's how it looks. Trump also said that Iran is in big trouble. Hannity asked him about Iran and if Iran is going to crumble, and Trump said they're in very bad shape. In another interview, a radio interview, Trump said that he will strike Iran very hard and make them pay hell if they kill any protesters. He's the protector of Iranian protesters. He doesn't want to see the NGO, the regime change assets that are in Iran. He doesn't want to see any harm come to them. That was my take of his statement. If you go after any of the protesters, well, then we're going to hit back. And then when it came to the Marinara, the oil tanker, Trump said that there were Russian ships. I believe he said a submarine and a destroyer. And of course, in classic Trump fashion, he exaggerated the situation by telling Hannity that the Russian ships were there, and then they saw the U.S. Coast Guard or the U.S. Navy, whatever. They saw the U.S. and then they ran away. Run away, run away. The U.S. is here, run away. So the sub turned around and left, and the destroyer turned around and left. And that was that. So that's how Trump described the situation. The reports are that the Russian vessels, the sub and whatever other vessel was heading towards the Marinara, that they didn't make it in time. Those are the reports. They couldn't make it in time. So it was as simple as that. I'm getting hungry now. All the talk about marinara. I need a spaghetti. Anyway, even the New York Times says there were no Russian vessels in the vicinity of the Bella 1 when the U.S. Coast Guard boarded the ship, according to two U.S. officials, averting the possibility of a standoff between U.S. and Russian forces. And then on Ukraine, Trump said, this is not my war, this is Biden's war. And then he said that Biden gave Zelensky $350 billion. Can you imagine that? We did not get any of it back. But I did actually. I made a deal for rare earths and blah, 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 right? Rare earths and all of that stuff. When he was asked about Maria Corina Machado, and Hannity said that she's going to be coming to the United States, and she even said that she will share or give you the Nobel Peace Prize. Trump said, that's great. He says, yeah, I'm happy to meet her. And if she's going to give me the Nobel Peace Prize, sure, I'll take it. So that's what he said about Machado. Machado wants to get power in Venezuela. That's what she wants really bad. She wants power in Venezuela so bad that she's willing to give up the Nobel Peace Prize. That's how bad she wants power. Oh boy, what an insane world we live in. And then he went off on Norway. Boy, did he go off on Norway, because he said that the Nobel Peace Prize, well, it's in Norway, and it's an embarrassment that he didn't get it. And he's not mad at Norway or the Norwegian people, but maybe he is a little bit mad because he was basically robbed of the Nobel Peace Prize. And then he started to talk about the wars that he's solved. That's my clown world. I'll get into that in my clown world. So let's shift gears, or not really shift gears. Let's talk about Iran, since Trump mentioned Iran, and he believes that Iran is crumbling. Bessent also said that the Iranian economy is crumbling. They believe that they're very close to a regime change. I personally don't believe we're there yet, but I will say that things are shaky. I've gone through all kinds of videos, and I've tried to do as much research as I possibly could. There's a lot of fake videos out there, a lot of fake old videos of protests and burning flags or burning buildings from different protests or different times of protests in Iran in the past. So there's all kinds of fake stuff going on, being put on social media. But things are shaky. Things are definitely shaky. Probably the most shaky they have been in a long time. And Pezeshkian, he's not a wartime president. He'd be good in peace. He's not good in my opinion, he's not the right guy at the right time. He's not the guy that you want in a very tense, shaky time. So we'll see how all of this plays out. But the Trump administration, they believe that they're very close to getting a regime change in Iran. And yesterday we actually had the news confirmed, news that the internet was shut down across the entirety of the country. Actually, throughout the country, there was no internet. Internet shuts down. Iran shuts down internet amid protest groundswell, monitoring group. Iranian cities have been the scene of unrest since late last month over soaring living costs and a weakening currency. So things are looking tough for Iran. I don't think we're at a regime change moment, but I could be wrong. Sometimes these things move fast, and no doubt the U.S. and Israel, they've got their people there, and they're trying to capitalize on the tension and on the anger and on the chaos. And Elon Musk, he turned on Starlink, right? So no internet in Iran, but Musk made sure that Starlink was turned on. Now, who's going to have Starlink? Who's going to have the terminals? It's not going to be your average Iranian citizens, right? Oh, check out the rainbow. Can you guys see the rainbow? It's not going to be your average Iranian citizens. It will be assets, collective West assets, that will have the setup for Starlink. That would be my guess. So Trump actually, he posted on Truth Social a YouTube video which claims over 1 million Iranians protesting in Iran's second largest city of Mashhad. And I don't know if there was a million. I really don't know if there was a million protesting in this city, to be quite honest. I've heard reports of 10,000, and I've heard other reports of very, very large protests. It's hard to tell what's going on, and with no internet, or internet only accessible to what I believe are the assets that actually have the Starlink, it's hard to get reliable information as to what is happening in Iran. In Syria, we have a big conflict that is breaking out in Aleppo between the Syrian army and the SDF. Now they're called the Syrian army. Now that al-Jawlani is in control, it's the Syrian army and not the Assad regime or something like that, or the brutal Assad regime. It is the Syrian army that is in a conflict now with the SDF. The SDF are the Kurds, right? So they're fighting in Aleppo. There's now a ceasefire, so it looks like there's a stop in the fighting, a temporary stop in the fighting, but things are escalating in Syria. So you have al-Jawlani, is the United States, backed by the United States, Israel, and Erdogan and Turkey, right? That's al-Jawlani. So his forces are fighting in Aleppo against the Kurds, who are backed by Israel and the United States. So if you do some math and you cancel some items out, so Israel cancels out, United States cancels out, and what do you get? You get Erdogan and Turkey going after the Kurds, which is something that Erdogan has been trying to do for a long time. And I imagine he senses that he has an opportunity now, a window of opportunity to get rid of the Kurds in the region. And so Erdogan is taking it. So that's my thoughts on what is happening in Aleppo. And we shift gears to Greenland. Oh boy, so many regions which are going off, huh? Well, Greenland not yet, but something's going to happen in Greenland, because it looks like the Trump administration is preparing an offer to the people of Greenland, to the Greenlanders. The U.S. is considering paying Greenlanders $10,000 to $100,000 to support secession from Denmark. We may soon witness the largest acquisition in world history. The reality of this offer is that Greenlanders already get better from Denmark. So paying them $10,000 to $100,000 really isn't going to change any opinions as far as whether they want to join the United States. Denmark provides Greenland with $12,000 per Greenlander each year, and that's just the block grant. On top of that comes free healthcare, free college education, etc. Denmark also paid for the 2 new international airports in Nuuk and Ilulissat. If a Greenlandic citizen needs specialized treatment, Denmark literally pays to have them flown to Copenhagen and treated, usually at our top hospital. So that's what they get with Denmark, which sounds a lot better than what the U.S. may be offering them. So searches for living in Greenland have surged, according to Google. Google search for move to Greenland surged to a record high as the U.S. considers paying Greenlanders up to $100,000 to support secession from Denmark. So $100,000 a year. That is a lot. That is a lot. They get $12,000 a year from Denmark, but they get all kinds of other amazing benefits. Anyway, there are people that now believe that that they're searching Greenland, so they believe that if they move to Greenland, go to Greenland quickly, maybe you can get that 10,000 to 100,000. It's 10,000 to 100,000. Maybe you can get some of that money. So everyone's searching Greenland. Greenland, move to Greenland. Move to Greenland, collect 100K. All right, all good. What a crazy freaking world we live in. The EU is preparing a response, though. Have no fear, Denmark. Have no fear. The EU is preparing a response, and no one better to prepare the response to the United States than stunning and brave Kaja Kallas. That's right. Kaja Kallas said that the EU is preparing their response to Trump's threats of taking Greenland. Speaking to reporters on Thursday, EU foreign policy chief said the messages that we hear regarding Greenland are extremely concerning. She added that European leaders have discussed if this is a real threat, and it is, and if it is, what would be our response? She didn't get into any of the details of the response, by the way. No details of the response. But if it is real, then Kallas is on it. It's real. It's real. And your response is going to be nothing. Your response is going to be whatever the United States tells you it's going to be. Maybe the United States and Trump, maybe they will allow you to save face, EU and Denmark. But what's going to take place between the United States and Denmark, or the United States and Greenland, Denmark and the EU, it's not going to be negotiations. These are not going to be negotiations. It's going to be the United States sitting down with Greenland and NATO and Denmark and Ursula and whoever, and they're going to sit down and say, this is the offer. This is how it's going to go down, okay? And that's going to be it. And we're even getting reports from I believe the Financial Times even put out a report saying that the most likely scenario is that Mark Rutte and NATO, they're going to sit down with Frederiksen in Denmark, and they're going to tell her to just swallow whatever the United States gives you. That's what they're saying. Whatever the United States gives you, you have no choice. Take it, because what matters is not the people of Greenland. What matters is that we keep the United States on board and invested in NATO. So let's do a clown world, and we can wrap up today's video. How are we doing on time? Not bad. I got through the news pretty quickly. I stumbled there a bit with my friends. Got distracted there a bit, but we did pretty good. Let's do some clown worlds. And I promised that we would talk about the Nobel Peace Prize, and let's talk about what Trump told Hannity about the Nobel Peace Prize and Machado. So Hannity tells Trump, I had Machado on my show, Mr. President, and she said that she wants to give you the Nobel Peace Prize or share the Nobel Peace Prize with you because you are the liberator of Venezuela. And then Trump said, oh, that's very nice. I like it a lot, he said. And then Trump said, you know, Norway, Newman, Norway. What did you do to me, Norway? Right? That's what he said. Very embarrassing, he said, for Norway. Very embarrassing that I did not get the Nobel Peace Prize. And then he talked about, you guessed it, the 8 wars. The 8, hey. How are you? You're following me. Oh, you are too. Is that your brother? Your sister? So what did, I lost my train of thought. Okay. Oh boy. Come here. I'll sit down on the gravel. Whatever. Who cares? You want some warmth? Where are you? Come here. It's raining a bit, but whatever. Let's keep this guy warm. So where was I? Yeah, so he started to talk about the conflicts that he resolved. And he talked about the 8 wars. And then he talked about Thailand and Cambodia. He said, I did put out 8 wars. 8 and a quarter, because Thailand and Cambodia started going at it again. It's been a major embarrassment to Norway. So it's 8 and a quarter. Oh boy. We've talked about this, right? We've talked about Thailand and Cambodia, right? And we've talked about, is it 8 conflicts that he solved? Is it 9? Does Thailand and Cambodia count twice? Well, it looks like we got our answer. It's 8 and a quarter. So that's Clown World number 1. I'll play the video of Trump saying that at the end, so everyone can hear him say that. We have an article from the Times, the UK Times, which has the title, UK would send fewer than 7,500 troops to Ukraine. 7,500 troops is what would go to Ukraine, what the UK would send to Ukraine if there is a ceasefire. And if Russia were to green light to be okay with Ukraine troops in Ukraine, which they're not. And we saw that with the Oreshnik strike. But anyway, that's all the UK has, 7,500 troops to go to Ukraine. And finally, we'll do one more Clown World. And this has to do with the World Cup. There seems to be a lot of ticket cancellations overnight. 16,800 people canceled their World Cup tickets. A lot of cancellations for the World Cup, which is in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, right? And now you have Trump talking about some sort of strikes in Mexico. You had everything that's going on with everything that happened with the ICE agent, and you have that going on, and you have Venezuela going on. You have Greenland going on, and of course, connected to Greenland is Canada. And so a lot of people are worried. A lot of people are worried about traveling to the United States. So that's an update there. I think I will end the video. What do you think? Should we end the video? Let's end the video. theduran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, we are on Odyssey, we are on Telegram and Rockfin and X. We're all over the place. Also go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, and definitely look for us on Substack. We have a very cool Substack. We will see you tomorrow. Take care. Okay. So hungry. My God. Okay, buddy. Oh boy. This little guy was hungry. There you go. I got him the good stuff. Okay, that's everything. That is everything, huh? Mr. Nicicoia Cat, this food is courtesy of everyone that watches these videos.
when she accepted that Peace Prize, she dedicated it to you. She said to me this week, both on TV and radio, that she wants to give the Nobel Prize, her Nobel Peace Prize, to you for liberating her country. Do you have any plans to meet with her? And would you accept the Nobel Prize she wants to hand to you?
Well, I understand she's coming in next week sometime. And I look forward to saying hello to her, and I've heard that she wants to do that. That would be a great honor. I did put out 8 wars, 8 and a quarter, because, you know, Thailand and Cambodia started going at it again. So
I'll put the list up
I give
if
a
you
quarter,
want.
so it's,
Yeah.
you put the list out, it's a hell of a list. But I've stopped 8 wars. And I think, it's been a major embarrassment to Norway. Now, I don't know what Norway has to do with it, but that's where the committee is located, a lot of Norwegian people. And it's been a very big embarrassment to the country of Norway, whether they have anything to do with it or not. I think they do. They say they don't. But, when you put out 8 wars, in theory, you should get 1 for each war, okay? Because some of these wars were going on for 30 years.